Okay. Let me make sure this heated blanket is on. Oh my goodness, the heated blanket is not on. Everything is plugged in. I don't understand. Okay. Turn it up to the max because I'm kind of cold. Make sure my notes are ready. Okay. Let's get this party started. Madame Morrible, come to the front. We need to have a chat. I know that it's been you all along, and we need to talk about it. Today I'm going to be making a video about a topic I'm not qualified to speak on, but we're going to make it anyway, because who going to stop me? I don't know a lot of the lore. Well, I learned a lot of the lore about the Wizard of Oz and Wicked like 2 days ago. I've never been like a musical fan that much, never cared for. I heard people talk about Wicked when I was younger, but never seen the musical, never read the books. I watched the Wizard of Oz maybe twice in my lifetime. It's been a long time. Okay. So when the Wicked movie came out this year, I didn't feel so inclined to go watch it. And I'm one of those people that like when people make a big scene about something, it kind of pushes me away. Like everybody and their mom was talking about it. It was a whole shebang, especially all over social media. So I started like clicking not interested whenever it popped up because I was like, you guys are drowning me over something I don't care to talk about. But then I was on the phone with a friend last Saturday and she encouraged me to watch it. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a go. I'm on Christmas break. Let me go ahead. So I went to the movies by myself, which I love to do. I pull up, buy my ticket, and I'm watching the movie and I'm like, actually, this is really good. I'm a hyper fixator. So once I find something I like, I start to tweak out. So immediately I rushed home, already singing the songs. Defying Gravity is my favorite. I ended up putting my microphone here. So I hope it's not an eyesore, but I do talk with my hands. So I don't want to hold it. So I was doing a bunch of yapping just now. Let me just get straight into it. I know that we know that Maribel is a villain in The Wizard of Oz, but I don't know if everyone, and maybe a lot of people do, because like I said, I just now immersed myself in the lore of The Wizard of Oz and Wicked like a couple days ago. So like I said, I'm not qualified to speak on this, but I have the idea that a lot of people like me even saw Wizard of Oz when they were younger, never delved into Wicked, read the books, saw the musical. This is the first time hearing this version, this part, this backstory of the original story, correct? So during the movie, we realize Maribel is not a good person, but I don't know that everyone knows to the extent she's a bad person. Now, I want to preface this by saying this is just a theory. So if you've read the books, either of them, the Wizard of Oz books or the Wicked books, don't come for me. I'm saying that like people will watch this. I don't know nobody. But just in case someone does watch this, don't be like, this is incorrect. This is a theory, a film theory. Anyways, so before we can even get started, let's do some world building. I never read the Wizard of Oz books, but I did watch a couple of YouTube videos of people who did. I'll probably try to link those down below. I've never done that before in my life, so we'll see if I'm successful. But in the books, there is a map of the land of Oz. So we have the Emerald City in the middle, Munchkin Land, Winky Country, all the other districts or whatever are on the map. It's kind of like a rectangle shape. This magical land is like a rectangle shape, and bordering, I did take pictures, so I'll see if I can put them in. But bordering the land of Oz is what is called the impassable, they can't pass it, the impassable desert. It is surrounding Oz. So on all four sides, it's the impassable desert, meaning the Ozians, the people that live in Oz, cannot like leave, at least not through the desert. They can't. I'm not too sure what happens to them. I think that they either die, which I have a theory about that. Either A, they pass away because the land of Oz is the land of magic. The people who live here need to be sustained by magic, even though there's no more like they said in the movie, magic is now rare. People who can't do magic are now rare. The land is still sustained by magic. So I assume that the impassable desert does not have any magic. So that's why whenever Ozians, animals, whatever, try to leave Oz through the desert, they either pass away, they don't come back, no one hears from them. I have a different hypothesis for what happens to them, but we'll get there. So that's the land of Oz. And there's even a clip in the Wicked movie. I should have said this before. There are spoilers in this video. So if you haven't watched Wicked, if you don't want to know what happens in Act 2, which I don't talk about that much, but this is a spoiler. It's a spoiler. Okay, it's a spoiler. Sorry. I already need some water. I love a good yap session. Y'all like my cup? I got this after watching Vinland Saga. I want to be a Viking. Anyways, I would have survived as a Viking. That's a whole different story. But I hope y'all can hear me with this mic. But even in the movie, when Elphaba was singing "The Wizard and I love that song. She sounded so hopeful. But she's like running and she runs to this cliff. I believe this is the edge of Oz, because when the camera pans out, you're looking at a desert. I think that beyond that point she was at, beyond that cliff, the Ozians cannot survive past that because there's no more magic there. So I'll tell you why I think what I think. But I think that the land of Oz is a universe that is a pocket of magic located in the United States. This is not that hard to figure out for yourself because, as we know, it's revealed that the wizard is from Nebraska. Dorothy, who pops up later in The Wizard of Oz, is from Kansas. Did you know that Nebraska and Kansas is right here? They're right on top of each other. I believe that the land of Oz is a pocket of magic smack dab in between those. And obviously there's 2 states on this side. So the land of Oz is surrounded by states. We can't just access it because it's a pocket of magic, but theoretically it would be located in between these 4 states. Okay, Nebraska and Kansas being on the top and bottom of it. Oz right here. The impassable desert, I believe that the impassable desert is actually the states. So the one on top, this impassable desert bordering the top of the land of Oz, is Nebraska. That's where Nebraska starts. On the bottom, the impassable desert on the bottom of Oz, Kansas. And then I don't know my geography. I know I should, but whatever's on the other side is on the other side. You get the gist. You get the idea, right? So that's they're bordering. So that's why the Ozians, people of Oz, cannot leave Oz through the desert, at least, because the desert becomes Nebraska. Nebraska doesn't have the magic that the Ozians need to sustain themselves, because y'all are from a magical universe. So you gotta stay there. Okay. Moving on. I want to talk about either A, Maribel, which I feel like is most likely. Maribel does not know there's a real world outside of them. Seems like most of the Ozians don't know there's another universe out there, our universe. Probably more, but for now we're just talking about ours in the Oz universe. Either A, which is likely she's not aware of that, but if you are on the border of that state, so if you live like on the cusp of Nebraska, you also live on the cusp of the top of the land of Oz. If you're up here at the very top of Kansas, you are also right next to the border of the land of Oz. Okay, B, Maribel is aware of the real world. I like to think that she is, but she likely probably isn't. Put a pin in that. We're coming back to that later. Put a pin in that. Okay, I hope you can still hear me good. We're putting a pin in that point. Now we're going to move to the point where I believe that Maribel is a descendant of the wise ones. If you were paying attention in the movie when they were doing the Wizomania, like little movie theater production, when they got to Emerald City, they talked about how back in the day, there was the wise ones. I believe this was a group of people, maybe the royal family, whatever, group of people that could conduct magic. They could all read the grimoire, whatever, okay, because they had magic and they were able to do so. So far, seems like magic is rare. No one else has magic except for Maribel and Elphaba. We'll talk about that later, okay? Maribel has magic, so I like to think that she's probably related to this distant descendant, twice removed cousin of the original wise ones. We'll get to what I think happened to them, because I didn't read the Oz books, but I did watch a long video breaking down each book. And in the book, it talks about how something happened to the wise ones. There was a family that did rule over Oz, and then all of a sudden the king disappeared, and there was a princess, and she got turned into something else. That's the whole thing. If you're interested in more details about that, which could enlighten you some more, I'll try to link it and you can watch that. But they didn't just like disappear. Seems like something bad happened to them. Okay, my hypothesis is that Maribel has always wanted power, but she doesn't necessarily want to be the face of power. Like, she doesn't want to be the one in charge, the one in front being the tyrant, right? Being the dictator. She wants to be on the back end, still having power, still in control, but not people knowing she's in control. so she could express her dual personality. She could be good but do bad at the same time. I believe she's always wanted power, and it seems like she's pretty powerful, but not that powerful. She's powerful in the aspects of controlling the weather, but it seems like she can't do much else, you know? So she's like, if I want power, like, I'm going to have to take it. Personally, I think that Maribel did something to the wise ones. Because even in the movie, they didn't talk about what happened to them. They just kind of died off, and now we were left with nobody who can read the Grimoire. I think that either A, Maribel is not aware of the real world, but she knows that when the Ozians go into the impassable desert, they can't come back. I think she booted the wise ones out of the land of Oz. I think she just boop. And then now she's the only wise one descendant left. She can kind of read the Grimoire. After 2 years, baby girl, 1 to 2 words. After 2 years of practice, what are you doing here? Wanted power. She was never going to get it with the wise ones still in charge. Or maybe they did die off naturally, and Madame Morrible, realizing I'm the only one left here with magic and I can just barely read the Grimoire, I think I should take control. So my hypothesis is that, or my theory is that Maribel caused the drought. I think she caused the drought. She knew that, okay, the land of Oz were already kind of like on the cusp of chaos because the wise ones are dead. All they did was leave us this prophecy, but the wise ones are dead. And it seems like this land is sustained by magic. So since the most powerful ones that could do magic died, I think that either A, Maribel was like, I see my chance. Now that they're gone, I'm going to take over. So I think that she saw her opportunity and was like, let me cause more peril and distress to the land by causing a drought. How are droughts caused? The droughts happen because the land dries up because there is not enough rain to replenish the water that we're using, that the land requires, right? So she either A, caused the drought. That's what I think. That's what I like to think, because I think she's very evil. I think she's eviler than what we think. I think she's eviler than what we think, okay, what they show. So this is some of her backstory. Or B, maybe the land starts to fall apart because the land is sustained by magic, and the wise ones who could conduct magic have passed away, you know? And so because now the strongest magic users are gone, now the land of Oz is kind of like imploding, so the drought happens. Either way, for someone who specifies in weather, couldn't you just cause some rain? Why is no one asking her that? Did no one ask her to bring rain? For someone who specializes in weather and there is a drought, you know how you undo a drought? More rain. We need more rain, and you can control the weather, so you can cause rain. You can be precise with the rain, but you refused. I don't think she even tried. I think that she refused. Okay, she either caused it or it happened naturally. Either way, she refused to help. You can control weather. A drought should have never happened if you can control weather. A drought should have never, the great drought seems like it was devastating. It should have never gotten that bad. When you can control rain, you can control weather. Shame on you. Shame on you. So there's that. Either way, she had something to do with the drought lasting for as long as I don't even know how long it lasted, but they called it the Great Drought. So it seems like it lasted a while. I don't even know if the drought is over yet, but they were talking about it in the history class in Wicked, so it seems like it's something of the past, right? You could have aided in the drought. The drought didn't need to be as catastrophic as it was, but you let it get that bad. Either you caused it or you knew you could help and you refused. Okay? Another hypothesis I have, another theory I have, is that Maribel knows there is a real world. Maybe all the wise ones, or the family of the wise ones, maybe they all knew there is a real world out. I say real world. Maybe they know there is a world outside of theirs. They might not. And her accidentally bringing in the wizard, accidentally bringing in Dorothy is all just like a side effect of her causing distress and turmoil with her freaking tornadoes and shit, you know? So they just kind of like accidentally got caught up in the crossfire because, like I said, the impassable desert is actually where Nebraska and Kansas meet Oz. So if you happen to be on the border of Nebraska and this magical psycho who can control the weather causes this big tornado to the point that it reflects in our world, you know, because even though she's causing the tornado in her world, the tornado is affecting our world too. So if you happen to be on the cusp of Nebraska, floating in your hot air balloon, minding your business, you might get caught up in this whirlwind of tornado and brought maybe a couple yards over, a couple miles over into the land of Oz. Same thing for Dorothy. Your house just happens to have been built on the edge, on the border of Kansas, okay? You think you'd be closer to Nebraska. You don't know that you're actually closer to the land of Oz. Okay? And so she's conjuring up this tornado to drop on Nessa to bring out Elphaba. But she accidentally, if she's not aware of the rule of our world, she accidentally snatches a house on the edge of Kansas, gets caught up in this tornado, and smacks on top of Nessa. Okay? Either way, her causing this tornadoes is not for good reason. So you use your you'll use your power to cause turmoil in your land, but not to reverse the drought, not to solve the drought issue y'all was having back in the day. Okay, yes. So I believe that Maribel may know about our world. If she doesn't, her causing these disasters. If you just happen to be a little too close to the land of Oz, okay, and you don't know that, okay, you just in the edge of Nebraska, on the edge of Kansas, you may just accidentally get mixed up in her disastrous concoctions for her land. Okay, so that's how Oz came. Oz, that's not his real name. That's how the wizard popped up into the land of Oz. He gets here and he's like, I don't think I'm in Nebraska anymore. Okay, and Maribel's looking at him like, oh, what an unexpected or maybe expected surprise. So they put their heads together. They sharing brain waves. They rubbing their hands together, talking about what are we gonna do? Because as we know, like the wizard, when he was in our land, he had no power. It seemed like he was on the bottom of the totem pole in our world. He was a bum. Nobody cared about him. So now he comes up in this land and he's like, why do these people look so funny? Why are the animals talking? Maybe I can make a name for myself here. I'm about to make a name for myself here. Anyways, Maribel is like, this is perfect. You're greedy. I'm greedy. I want power, but I don't want to be the face. Like, I don't want the Aussians to know that it's me, being the tyrant, being the dictator. Why don't you be the face? And he's like, I'll be the face. And she's like, well, let me tell you, let me fill you in on what already started. I caused the drought, or the drought happened and I refused to help. Okay, and he's like, so we are already natural disasters are plaguing the land. We need something else. And she's like, well, what could it be? We need oppression. Oh yeah, he's from America. Of course, he's bringing these terrible ideas into the land of Oz. He's like, yeah, we need to oppress somebody. She's like, well, who should we start with? She's all excited and eager, and he's like, I have just the thing. I noticed that y'all got chickens and flamingos and animals talking and having jobs and walking around the Emerald City. What's up with that? Why y'all got talking animals? And she's like, what do you mean? They've always done that. Y'all don't have that? And he's like, no, where I'm from, we put these animals in zoos, in cages, in a circus. They're pets. They're beneath us. They do literally anything else but talk and participate in society. We should start oppressing the animals. Let me check and make sure this is recording. Ugh. Okay, it is. Ooh. Sorry. It's my Viking cup, by the way. I watched Vinland Saga this year, and yeah, I saw that soon after I finished, and I was like, I need it. We can talk about that later. Let's focus. Yes. So she's like, perfect idea. Let's start oppressing the animals. And obviously it's a gradual thing. As we can see, like even when Elphaba's born, when she's younger, she's raised by her animal friends or whatnot. The goat is still a professor. But it's a very gradual thing. Because I don't know if y'all noticed, but when you're watching the Wicked movie, pay close attention to the university. You'll see that originally the university seems like it was dedicated for animals, where animals were the ones in charge of this university. Okay, because during the whole sequence where Elphaba raises her sister in the air and accidentally causes destruction in the courtyard, something smacks that mural. You know the mural of the wizard standing there? Yeah, when that crumbles, you'll see that was a cover-up for something else. And the mural, original mural there, it's a painting of animals. Seems like animals owned the school, built the school, ran the school, founded the school, whatever. Okay, but years ago, y'all gonna put a mural over the original mural of the wizard. Later on, when Elphaba is singing, I'm not that girl, she's standing next to this pillar, and ingrained in the pillar is animals. You see a monkey, I think there's a bird, I don't remember, but there's like vines and like animals ingrained on this pillar. And then even later, the even earlier, the goat, the Dr. Dillerman was showing these old pictures of how, you know, animals used to be in these hallways teaching and learning and just like everybody else. But over time, it's being covered up. The original history of animals is disappearing. And we even hear Dr. Dillerman. He's talking normal 1 second, next second he's making goat noises. It's already happening. That oppression is gradual. Okay. Um yeah, I think that was it. So just to summarize everything, I've been doing a lot of talking, but just to bring it back to the point. Oh, sorry. Just to bring it back to the point. Maribel is evil. We knew that. But I think that her roots of evilness go further back. Either A, she's the reason the wise ones are gone, or B, when the wise ones disappeared and they died, she saw that as her opportunity to take control. She doesn't want to be the face of control, but she does want to be in the back end controlling things. So she either A, causes the drought, or B, maybe the drought happens because the wise ones, the magical ones, because this land is sustained on magic, they die, so now the land is like starting to crumble. Either way, she could have done something to help this drought by causing rain because she specializes in weather, but she refuses. She refuses, okay? That's part two of the hypothesis. Next is that she's aware of the outside world and intentionally brings in somebody. Maybe she doesn't look and be like, ah, yes, him, I want him. But she causes something knowing someone on the outside can get wrapped up in it and brought here. She does it twice, okay? The wizard and Dorothy. Or B, she's not aware of the outside world, but whenever she causes these natural disasters in the land of Oz, because maybe she's doing it close to the edge of Oz. Whoever's on the cusp of Nebraska or on the edge of Kansas, you're so close to Oz and you don't even know. You get wrapped up in the natural disaster she causes, and now you're brought into her world. So either she doesn't know about the real world, and you know the people accidentally coming in are just a side effect that she ends up being able to use in her nefarious plan, or she does know and she brings them here on purpose. And that aside, the wizard gets here, they put their hands together. You know, she's like, oh, you need to open up the grimoire because already you made a dramatic entrance. The way you came in, these people think you're magical because they've never seen no hot air balloon. Okay, you have technological advances that we don't, so that's your magic. That's why they think you're magic. So he gonna open the book and shout, Omaha, which is the name of his city that he lives in Nebraska. But y'all can't read the grimoire. No one can fact check. You're just like, oh yeah, that's him. Okay, and so then him and Maribel put their heads together, rub their hands together, and decide that, okay, on top of the drought, we need someone to blame the drought and we need someone to oppress because he's from America. That's how we get our power, right? Oppressing somebody else. So he's like, the animals, where I'm from, the animals don't speak. She's like, great idea. And they start oppressing the animals. Whole time she's still looking for somebody who's a bit stronger than her, because while she's strong, you know, her power to control the weather is pretty solid. That's kind of all she can do. She specifies in weather. That's it. That's her specialty. Okay, somehow someone comes to be that is pretty powerful. Elphaba. Okay, and so now they want to use her to mutilate these monkeys, to use them as spies, and to aid and speed up the process of oppressing the animals and then having control. That is the theory. You may have already thought of that and this whole video was just repeating something you already knew, or maybe you're like me and you went into watching the Wicked movie not having read the books of Wicked or the books of Oz. You only saw the Wizard of Oz movie, and that's as far as you know. Maybe this ties some things a bit more. I think that maybe reading the other books ties in more of what I said, or maybe the books from both series disproves everything I just mentioned. Whatever it is, I enjoyed yapping about it because it's been on my mind the whole time. I was like, why did no one ask why Maribel didn't solve the drought issue? To solve a drought, you just need rain and lots of it. You can control the weather, and you're damn powerful at it. Because you're accidentally bringing other people from another world. And then this impassable desert, like I said, I believe the impassable desert is actually just a representation of the United States here that surround Oz. Obviously, to them looking out, it looks like the impassable desert because we don't have magic. So I think they can only recognize magic. So it just looks like a desert. But on our side, it's the state. Okay. And if you're close enough to the border of Oz, thinking you're on the border of your state, if someone is causing a tornado, you'll be wrapped in. So if you live in Nebraska, if you live in Kansas, beware. Be careful how close you are to the edge of your state. Okay? You might get swept up somewhere maybe you want to be or you don't want to be. But that's it for this yapping session. I don't know how I'm going to edit this because I got sidetracked so much and I was having so many technical difficulties. If the audio sounds crazy, it's definitely because I do not know how to work this mic. I was smacking the mic, I was shouting in the mic, or I was whispering into the mic. I don't know. We'll see. This will be my first video that I'm editing. This will also be the first video that I'm posting on my YouTube channel. Why did I choose to yap about a topic I'm not qualified about? Like today's Saturday, so it's been exactly a week. Last Saturday was the first time I ever learned anything about Wicked, and then I just took it and ran with it. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think anyone will see this, but if somehow you see this and you liked it, let me know. If you didn't like it, let me know. If you know more about the Wicked lore and the Wizard of Oz lore, and I'm so far off, let me know. If I'm correct, or you have your own theory, please tell me. Toodles, until next time.